Hi all, I'm Jason Lawrence, Casey's husband. Now that Casey's got all of these window boxes planted up, we're going to be installing a watering system by proven winners called WaterWise. We've got 7 wall boxes here, and once we've got our watering system hooked up, we'll be able to put a timer on that faucet right there, and all of these boxes will self-water. How great is that going to be? I'm going to love it. Well, it says we can water 10 containers with one single faucet, so we'll definitely be able to get our 7, no problem. Well, you can see that we like this dark color. This is the color of our house. This is the color of our greenhouse. This is the color of our wall boxes. So the first thing that I'm going to do is paint this tubing to match, so that way you don't really see it as it goes from box to box. Alright, well the instructions are right here on the side of the box. Looks pretty simple. The first thing is to attach the backflow prevention valve to your hose spigot. So that's what this is right here. See, the part with the screen is going to go up against the hose bib there. Alright, next we're going to put on the faucet adapter. So this basically takes the threaded part that you put the hose on and condenses it down into this little part right here so you can stick the tubing onto it. So next I'm going to take one end of the tubing here and I'm going to plug it into the adapter, and then we're going to be able to start going up through the boxes. Now you want to be able to take the end here and put it so that it's all the way up into here. So you're going to have to kind of use a little bit of pressure there. It says that you can wet this down to kind of make this a little bit easier, so that's what I'm going to do here. Alright, so I've got this all wetted up here. Alright, so we got all kinds of little pieces that come with here. What these are, this is actually the dripper. So this is where the water is going to come out. These stakes here allow you to stick it into the ground, into a planter, into a box, and kind of guide where the tubing is going to go. This is going to allow you to connect the tube here, let the tube continue to run to the next little sprinkler head or the next box or whatever you're doing, but then off of this one here is where you're going to have a little tube and your dripper head. We've got these little guys here, so for the inside of the box or your planter or whatever, you can kind of keep that tubing in place. There's a little nail in there and a clamp there. And then this is a 4-way. So say you want to have 2 little nozzle drip heads in a box, you can have your water tube run to here, it continues on its way, and then you'll have a little tube off of here, a little tube off of here, and then you'll have 2 of the drip heads there, and that's what we're going to be doing for a lot of ours. So in each one of our boxes we're going to have 2 little drip heads there. So for each box I'm going to use one of these. So this is a T-shaped one, so I'm going to have the water line come in one side, go out the other, and then a little water line coming off the top. I'll use 2 of these for each one. So 2 of the little sprinkler heads, 2 of the T's for each one. Alright, so I've got this running up from the faucet. I've got it running up along the side of the box here, and I'm going to try to keep them towards the back of the box. That way when I go from box to box, I can kind of mount the tubing to the wall so you don't really see it. Once this all grows in, you won't really see it anyways. But I'm going to start here. All we really need is a scissors, and we're going to make a cut where we want to place the T along with the sprinkler. So made the cut here, and I'm just gonna get this wet so it slides in there. There we go. So now you can see the line is back together. I've got the little T in here. Well, what I'm going to do is actually take and cut another little piece of tubing to connect the sprinkler head on there, and I've got some extra tubing that I'll do that with. And really all I need, I don't need much, just enough to, that'll do it there. So then I'm going to take and I'm going to put the sprinkler head, this is kind of like the sharp part here that's going to go into the tube. So you can see now that's connected to the tube, and then I'm going to connect it to the T that is inside of the bed already. So once I connect that to the T, then we'll be good to go, and we'll have one of the little sprinkler heads hooked up in there. So here's the T here, and there we go. This is just going to lay. There are these spikes too if you wanted to keep the water line elevated in the box. So here's an up close of what I did. So I made the cut right there. I put the T in there, put the extra little piece of tube on there, and I put this here, and then we're just gonna bury this down underneath, and it's gonna sit on the dirt, and we're just gonna repeat that so we've got 2 in each of these boxes. See, you really don't even see it in there. There it is, right there. So it's just laying on the dirt right there. So now I'm going to just do the same thing. Find my my line here, and I think I'll put the next one right about here. So that's where I'm going to make my cut. And you can use a box cutter. You can use a scissors. My line fell. And again, I want to keep the line towards the back of the box. Well, that's a weird frog. There we go. Got my second connection there. Alright, so I got my second sprinkler head here. I'm going to pop that into the piece of tubing that I cut. Alright, so here we go. We've got our second connection with the tube. We made the cut. We put the T in there. And now we're going to take our second little piece of tubing with the sprinkler fitting. We're going to put that on top of the T here. We're going to bury this down underneath, and we'll have one box complete. Alright, so since we got this one done, I'm going to take the tubing here that's coming out of this one, and I'm going to bring it over to the next one here. You know, say you wanted to put this up against the wall here, and you had a super deep window box. I mean, you could really cut a little piece of hose as long as you want, keep this up against a wall or a solid surface, and then have your sprinkler head located wherever you want attached to the tube. This time I got a longer piece of tube because I'm keeping this tubing right back up against the back of the box here. So longer tube. Okay, so here's my cut, and then this time I put that longer tube on. I'll put the sprinkler head at the end. That way, if you see what I mean here, you can keep the tubing, you know, all the way in the back there, and then just have this little sprinkler head kind of going right towards the middle of the box. Alright, so I got another tip here. So we've got T's, which are, you know, the water line runs through. You put one sprinkler head, you know, you attach one hose to that. If you run out of T's, they've got these guys with 4 on it. So you can kind of do the same thing. This can give you 2 in each box. So your main water line is going to run here, through here, and then what you can do is you can put a little hose onto each one. So your main water line is going to run through these ones here, and then you're going to have a sprinkler head, a watering drip nozzle attached to each one of these. So you can put one of these in one box and still get 2 heads. So if you run out of the T's, you can also use these as well, or this might even be quicker. If you've got somewhere you want to put 2 little heads in there, watering heads, then you can use one of these 4-bangers here. Because I'm going to use the 4-banger here in this box, and you can see to make things quicker, you might as well just attach your tubing onto each side, attach the watering heads on there, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the line that's in here. So I've got the water line running back in here, and I'm going to make my cut right in the center. That way this is going to go right in the center, and then I can place these, you know, running off of each side, and then it'll get evenly dispersed in there. I'll take the 2 heads and I'll put them beneath the foliage, but I'll separate them and space them evenly so everything gets watered evenly in here. So the last one on the bottom's done. Now I'm going to be taking the tubing and I'm going to be going up to the upper window boxes. So the kit comes with a lot of these little fasteners, and if you need to make corners or turns and keep things secure, so when I go up with the water tubing here, I don't want it hanging out of the top of the box, so I'm going to use one of these fasteners to secure it at the point where I'm going to kind of go up, and then that way it stays nice and clean and neat and up against the siding. So don't forget to use these guys too. So you can hardly even see it at all, but the tubing is coming from this box, and it's going to run up, and I mounted it right into the side of our trim here. Now it's going to go over into our next ones and continue down the line. Okay, so now that I'm on the last box here, we've come to the end of the line. So this is the end of the piece of the tubing here. And what you're going to do is simply put your last little drip head in the end there, and that's essentially going to terminate the line. That's going to give me my second drip head in here. So you want to plan it out to where at the end of the line you're going to put in the last drip head. There it is, very inconspicuous. And there we go, underneath the foliage, they're doing their work. Alright, well that's going to do it, and thanks to Proven Winners Water-Wise, watering these boxes is going to be almost no work at all this summer. So this is going to be huge, great weight lifted off of our shoulders that allow us to go do other things. Thank you.